Hey, good morning. It's a beautiful day today. So, today we'll be taking it from the bottom up all the way. But before I get you started on this one, I would want to please encourage all the students to make sure that your homework and the worksheet that I usually send across to your Facebook group, that you attend to them and send them back to the group so that they could be checked and you can go through them, okay, all by yourselves and do the corrections, okay? Okay, with that said, I'll be taking you over to the workboard section where we'll have to look at, okay? Come with me, let's go see what we've got. Okay, here we are. As you can see from here, we've got our content. So the things that we'll be dealing with. So we'll be following them up sequentially, in sequence, one after the other. So here we've got simple present. Remember your simple present tense. We'll have to talk about facts or things that are going to be true for a longer period of time. Then we've got our present progressive, which we also call present continuous tense. And we've got our stative verbs. You remember I taught you about stative verbs, the non-action verbs like believe, like belong, like agree, like love. Okay? So we'll be looking at all that. Here we've got am, is, are, plus being, an adjective. So we'll be focusing on this particular one, which is highlighted. Remember our verb be, or verb be, are, am, is, and are. Okay? So do we use them with being? So we're going to find out about all that. Then we've got our regular and irregular verbs. I've highlighted on this one so many times. The regular ones, we usually don't focus much on it or on them because they are easy to remember. All you need to do for the regular verbs is by adding ed at the end of the verb for the simple, past, and the past participle form of the regular verbs. For the irregular verbs, those are the ones you have to pay particular attention to because the only way for you to know them is by trying to, go over them again and again so you get used to them. Then we've got the regular verbs, pronunciation of the ed. Pronunciation of the ed, we pronounce the ed as if they were t or t. So he finished his work early yesterday. Finished, because finish is a regular verb. Then we use ed for the simple past. And because I'm talking about yesterday, I have to use it in the simple past, which he finished his work yesterday. But here we'll be looking at the pronunciation of them. Also, we've got our irregular verbs, an alphabetical list, okay? We've got, I've sent some of that to you before, but like rise, raise, sit, set, sit, lay, lie, all these we looked at. We'll be looking at them in the course of this, our new series. Then we'll go down to simple past, past progressive, using progressive verbs with always to complain about something, using expressions of place with progressive verbs. Okay, let's get it started with this quick exercise, which is going to help us to get a headway. So, preview, present and past verbs. So we're looking at simple present and simple past here. So they say, I am not agree with your opinion. And you remember, agree is our non-action verb, which is a stative verb. We don't use this in the continuous form, although we're not talking about continuous, but it just occurred to me. You cannot say, I am not agreeing with your opinion. You see, it doesn't sound okay. Or you can say, I don't agree with your opinion. If I do not agree with your opinion. So we've got the second one, said, I am not knowing Sam's wife. You see, the same thing with knowledge. Nobody knows how much of a thing that you know. So know, is a stative verb, so we cannot use it in the continuous form. Say, I am not knowing Sam's wife. We don't say that. Say, I don't know Sam's wife. So this other one again, what you are talking about. I'm talking about the political situation in the country. See, we have to use our verb be when we're asking questions. And remember our verb be, am, is, and are. So you see here, because it's a question, they have to use the are before the you. Say, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the political situation in my country. I have my roommate usually watch television, listen to music, going out in the evening. Okay, I'm going to leave it for here. I've given you a couple of examples. So after doing the grammar section for this, then you're going to come back here and see how well you can be able to find out the mistakes or the errors in this particular one. So let me go over and look at where I want us to be. So today we'll be starting it off with our simple present tense. As you can see here, they are using this graph to show us simple present. This is expected to be something that's happened. This one you have the minus x. This one's supposed to be like past, and we're supposed to be like here, which is today. So simple present, means something that is happening as we are speaking, not as in present continuous, but something that usually happens, in the present form. Okay, let's look at A. Says water consists of hydrogen and oxygen. Water, the chemical formula for water is hydrogen and what? Oxygen. To have the two molecules of hydrogen and two molecules of one molecule of hydrogen and two molecules of oxygen. So here, B section says the average person breathes 21,600 times a day. Wow, I never know this. See, we breathe in, we breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out. So you do this every day about 21,000 times. Can you imagine that? That is a lot without even us knowing it. Because it's a stative verb. That's why you're doing it. You don't even know. It's just like when you're looking, you look, you just look around, or see, try to explain the difference between see and look, watch and listen. Some of our stative verbs. So, okay, let's move on. Here we've got see says the world is round. Here in this very particular one, they're telling us that the simple present says that something was true in the past, is true in the present, and will be true in the future. Did you see that? This is a very good explanation of simple present tense. It tells us that what it says that something was true in the past, that something is true in the present, which is now, and will be true in the future. Okay? For example, the President of the United States of America lives in the White House. It had always been like that. All the presidents of the United States of America, they have always lived in the White House. Up to date, the current President of the United States, President Joe Biden, he also lives in the White House. So it expresses general statements of fact and timeless truth. You see, expresses general statements of what fact means, the things that are true, and a timeless truth. For example, it is a fact that I'm a teacher. Say, I am a teacher. So these are what we call, for example, again, you can say the sun rises in the east. See, every morning you wake up, you see the sun will rise, and in the evening, the sun will set. So these are timeless truths. So that's what we use simple present tense to talk about. Okay, here we've got I study for 2 hours every night. Say every night I'll go and study for 2 hours. So this one is a repeated action. I get up at 7 every morning. He always eats a sandwich for lunch. See, here we're talking about the present, the simple present is used to express habitual or everyday activities, something that becomes a habit. So the thing you have to take away from this lesson is that we use simple present tense to talk about facts or timeless truth, and also to talk about habits or everyday activities. Okay? So I'm going to limit it to simple present tense, and also here, simple present tense. Okay. I think we've got time, so let's continue because we've done this before. This is just, I'm taking you again back to most of the things that we've done because I realized that we're moving so fast. So I have to slow it down a little bit so that we'll make sure we're not leaving anything, untouched. So let's do this one again so we can compare the simple present and the present progressive. And here, present progressive or present continuous tense. John is sleeping right now. I need an umbrella because it is raining. The students are sitting at their desks right now. And you see here we've got our time marker, right now. Here again, right now. This is what tells us that our verb is in the continuous form. So the verb in the sentence, we have to add ing to it. And we must always and always use what? Our helping verbs, which is am, is, and are, depending on the subject of the sentence. As you can see here, the subject here is John, which is he. So we're using is because it's a singular noun, so we have to use a singular verb before the main verb plus ing. The same goes to this one. I need an umbrella because it. Say it is what? Raining. See, we're also using our verb, helping verb is, then rain, which is the main verb, then plus ing. The students are sitting at their desks right now. The students, because many students, we are now using are, which is our plural verb, be. Okay, let's look at the definition. I've got the present progressive expresses an activity that is in progress at the moment of speaking. It is a temporary activity that began in the past, is continuing at the present, and will probably end at some point in the future. You see, it started in the past, continued to the present, and it's going to end sometime in the future. So it's going to be short-lived. It's temporal. It's not going to stay, it's quite different from when we talk about simple present tense. So this one is a temporary action that is going to fade away as time goes by. So here we've got, I'm taking 5 courses this semester. John is trying to improve his work habits. Susan is writing another book this year. So here we're still using I plus am, which are our helping verb, take, main verb plus ing. Here John is because John is he, try is the main verb plus ing. Then Susan is she, we're using is, write is the main verb plus ing. So here often the activity is of a general nature, sometimes generally in progress. This week, this month, this year. Note, the sentence means that. In I, that means this one. Susan is writing another book this year. The sentence means that writing a book is a general activity Susan is engaged in at present, but it does not mean that at the moment of speaking she is writing at her desk with pen in hand. Did you see that? So when I say temporary activity, it doesn't mean that when you say, if I say I'm reading a good book, for example, it doesn't mean that I'm reading it as I'm speaking to you. It means that this is what a general activity, to read a book. So it might take me a week or a day or 2 days or weeks or even a month for me to finish the book. Okay? So, but the important thing I want you to take away from here is that when you're dealing with present continuous tense or present progressive tense, you must use your auxiliary verbs in all after the subject, then the main verb, then plus ing. So some of the things you have to do while on this topic is to teach you how to spell the ing form of some of the verbs, okay? Especially the irregular ones. So with that said, we are back again to test our knowledge. Okay, this is exactly where I want us to be, to compare the simple present and the present progressive. So practice using present verbs. Give some examples of your daily habits. Use the simple present. Give some examples of general statements or facts or timeless truths. Describe activities that are in progress in this classroom right now. Describe activities that are in progress in the world right now. So you have to take a look at this one. You have to deal with it together when you join me at the Zoom time. So we'll look at it, and talk about all these things. But it's good you have an idea of what you'll be looking forward to seeing or receiving when you join me at the Zoom. Yeah. I think that is going to be all about it for today. I'll be sending forth exercises to follow up with this class. So by the time you're done, then you join me back on the rebound so that we can take a recap or do a review of the whole lesson for today. Okay, thank you very much. And don't forget, make sure that your activities, your exercises are sent back to us, to our Facebook group, so that they could be checked for you to be able to do your corrections. It is important you do corrections so that you know where you're not doing well, where you need to work on. Okay, thank you and see you when you see me. And bye for now.